Good morning. My name is Darwin Larrada. My group is Luis Fernando and Diana Villazón. Our product is Vinos La Razón. The object number 1 is apply the concept microminute metabolism 3 elaboration of the one with the physiological and sensory characteristics established in the normativity. And objective number 2 is understand the apply the alcoholic fermentation technique in obtaining one in the product. The description what is very important since it is natural drink without additive or presented, and also the juice of the blackberry fermented of for this to have that these most intervened with may or may not be naturally present in blackberry of that weak natural artificial it to facilitate fermentation. This is carried for alcoholic fermentation with an anabolic big by molecule process with this metabolism sugar into alcohol and the carbonic dioxide. During the process, this is the energy by the source glucose molecules and generate alcohol CO. The weights this bacteria they cause this phenomenon and very common microorganisms in fruit in cereals contribute greatly to the flavor of fermented products in what these have ability to transform the sugar and blackberry moss into ethanol, CO, and other chemical compound in which is the most in weight.
By secure condition, it must be prepared with the utmost hygiene measure. Strict cleaning and disinfection program need to be developed and implemented. The end product be stored carefully at a temperature of your choice.
First, we have the initial fermentation, which is basically obtaining the must. Mainly, it should be taken into account that the blackberries obtained are in good condition, removing those that are in poor condition to avoid contaminating the product to be obtained. Likewise, they must be weighed and washed. Then we added the blackberries in the selected container and squeezed it as much as possible, and after that we covered with a fine cloth and leave it for a period of 5 days at room temperature, rotating the mixture. After the fermentation time is over, the most convenient thing to do is to take it to the lab to carry out the respective psychochemical tests such as Brix degrees, pH, acidity, and density. Now we have the second fermentation, which is obtaining the wine. And from the mass that we just obtained, we're going to standardize it by carrying out the fermentation of the wine. We added 1 kilo of sugar, 7 grams of yeast, and 1.8 liters of water, for a final volume of 2.3 liters. To this mixture, we have to measure Brix degrees, pH, and acidity. All accessories were placed in the home container to generate the proper fermentation conditions. Like for example, incubation for 40 days at a temperature no higher than 28 Celsius, and it is completely covered to prevent the entry of the sun's rays. It is important to mention that malolactic fermentation takes place in this phase. That is to say that this process is where malic acid One of the three acids present in wine, along with tartaric and citric, is converted into lactic acid. This process reduces the acid character of the wine and makes it much more pleasant to drink. Then, the same step should be repeated 7 or 10 days after the first intake. When obtaining the characteristics of acidity and alcoholic degree, the wine is subjected to racking in 3 sections. Afterwards, the pasteurization process is carried out at a temperature of 63 Celsius for 30 minutes. Next, we have the clarification process with unflavored jello. This step can be done after pasteurization or simply can be not. This is because it is completely optional. Lastly, we have bottling, packaging, labeling, and of course, aging in the fridge or at a suitable temperature this is for wine maturation.
In conclusion, an blackberry wine was obtained which meets all the parameters and quality standards established in the manufacture of a wine. This after implementing and process wine established techniques for the production of it. It should be noted that in what and projects of paramount importance for our integral development and sets of different areas because with understood how to apply biology process such as fermentation and complementary indices such as pH and breed grades to obtain and produce from it, and to create and goods and benefits for society, taking and account the nutritionality advantage provided by wines and triloids it fulfills in the body. It was also possible to apply the biological functionalities of determined by its abilities to resist in the presence of alcohols and carbon dioxide to carry out the biochemical process. This complemented by the knowledge acquired during the biotechnology course on microbial growth and metabolism through the phytochemical characteristics of the product, thus meeting the objectives set.